Ooh, welcome back, everybody. Glad you're here. I have another installment of Music You've Never Heard Retro. This one's going to go back to when I was a teenager. I was 14 years old. And I was actually sitting in a car. I can see it clear as day even today. In 1984, I was sitting in a car. I was reading through a music magazine. I can't remember if it was Rolling Stone or Hit Parader or one of those. I can't remember. And I saw an advertisement for an album that was coming out from somebody I'd never heard of. It was Roger Hodgson. The name of the album was The Eye of the Storm, and this was the album cover that was actually used in the advertisement. It's a full-page advertisement. I can still see it today. And me being the sci-fi buff and space buff and everything that I saw that and I was like, that's a cool album cover. And I was like, I need to check that guy out. And I remember just thinking that when I saw that, and I can still see that today. Kind of forgot about it a little bit in between seeing that advertisement and then actually getting the album. I moved from Texas to Arkansas, and it just kind of like filtered out until one day I ran across it. And I don't think I even heard the single In the Eye of the Storm, Had a Dream in the Eye of the Storm, until I actually bought the CD. It was released on radio. It wasn't a huge hit. I think it cracked the top 40, but wasn't a massive hit. I think the song he did after that, In Jeopardy, I think, actually did a little bit better. But the whole album was really great. Give me life, give me love, give me life. Only because of you, Lovers in the Wind. All these things were. It was a great album. Head to start. Only 7 songs. But the title track that I'm going to be reacting to for you guys today was the one that really stood out to me and has always been, since the first time I heard it, one of my favorite songs of all time. I didn't know that who Roger Hodgson was. I wasn't too deep into rock at that time. I was just getting into it. Most of my stuff was American, but I had heard of Supertramp, but I didn't know Roger Hodgson was basically one of the leaders of Supertramp. He, of course, gave us songs like School, Dreamer, Give a Little Bit, Logical Song, Breakfast in America, Take the Long Way Home, It's Raining Again. All these songs that you hear on classic rock all the time now. And so when I found that out, I think I heard Dreamer one day, and I was like, wait, that guy sounds really familiar, and kind of put it together. I mean, this is before the internet and even before, well, not before MTV, but, MTV wasn't really a source of like trying to find that stuff out unless you managed to catch it. So I kind of had to dig around and figure it out. And yeah, okay. This guy used to be with Supertramp. He left Supertramp in '83, just before the album was released. The last album they did together was Famous Last Words. That was in '82. They went on tour in like '83, and they were kind of like already starting to break up. And when the tour ended, he left, and he had already started work on this album. And then this album came out in October or December of '84. So this song is like one of my favorites. The original, if you listen to the album version, is something like 8 minutes long. I think 8.5 minutes long. The radio edit was I think about 4. Maybe 5. This version that we're going to be watching today is actually 5.5, I believe, and is just and really sums up everything. I think listening, the 8-minute version is fantastic, and I highly recommend finding it and listening to it. But you're going to get everything you need in the 5.5-minute version, which is actually better than the radio edit version of like 4.5 minutes. So you're going to hear a lot of prog rock in here, a lot of experimental stuff. He liked to do that. He tended to write more in like spiritual aspects, which is something that Supertramp didn't like, and it was one of the things that led to their breakup. Not heavily not so much heavily in this song, but you do get those instances of like spiritual aspects and things in his writing. The But the music is just fantastic. The way this is orchestrated, the lyrics and everything else. And it's always been one of those songs that I have loved listening to every time I got a chance to. So this is what we're going to learn today. I'm going to teach you all about Had a Dream, Sleeping with the Enemy by Roger Hodgson from 1984. And hopefully you guys will love it. I hope so. Hopefully you'll jab that like button, hit subscribe, and definitely a comment below and let me know what you think of it. Were you familiar with this before you saw this? Are you familiar with Roger Hodgson? I will tell you that he still tours today, I believe. He's like 72 years old. His birthday is actually the day before mine. He's older than I am. But he still tours and still sounds pretty much exactly the same as he did 40 years ago. It's crazy. So without any further ado, here's Roger Hodgson, Had a Dream, Sleeping with the Enemy. The intro to this is fantastic. The lyrics to this are fantastic, but I love that entire opening and how it leads into all this. I had to say that.
Well, that is not a place you wanna be, sleeping with the enemy, you know.
I kind of cut it a little short there before I wanted to, and I apologize for that. The opening verses here are "Had a dream I was born. It took me naked to the eye of the storm, and now it's standing right in front of me. What's it gonna do to me? Who knows? Had a dream it was time to be taken to the front of the line. Well, it's not a place you want to be, sleeping with the enemy, you know." He's talking a lot here about when you're born and you're thrust into life and you have no control over what's getting ready to come at you. You can be perfectly content, perfectly at peace in your life and sitting in the eye of the storm, but you have this storm circling around you and it's getting ready to hit you again. Or when you're taken to the front of the line in a battle, and that's not where you want to be. So you're under all these pressures and you have all these things coming at you. And you kind of heard it at the beginning when you heard the baby crying with that, and then you heard the guy saying no, 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 no. just do what you're told, right? And so you had these people telling you how to live your life, how to you're going to go where you don't want to go. You're going to be what you don't want to be. You got to face all these things from everybody else giving attention to you, and you don't really want it.
I don't care what the future brings, give a damn about anything I can find if they'd only leave me alone. But it's time, gotta take a stance, 'cause I won't get a second chance, and I know now I have to make it alone.
Right, so he's facing all these pressures, and he knows that he doesn't care. He doesn't care what the future brings, and he doesn't care about anything. It'll be fine. Just leave me alone. He just wants all these pressures to leave him alone, right? Life to leave him alone. The arguments to leave him alone. These contentions to leave him alone, because he has to take a stance, because he's not going to get a second chance. You only live one time in this life, and if he has to, he's going to do it alone. He doesn't need you to get through this life. It's a pretty interesting concept.
Had a dream, it was war, and they couldn't tell me what it was for. But it was something they could lie about, something we could die about, you know. Anytime, any place, when you look that man in the face. Well, it is not a face you wanna see, sleeping with the enemy, you know. Take it out.
Right, so he says, had a dream it was war, and they couldn't tell me what it was for. But it was something they could lie about, something we could die about, you know. Anytime, any place, when you look that man in the face, well, it's not a face you want to see, sleeping with the enemy, you know. Right, so you're being told to go to the front of the line. You're not given a reason. You're told to go to war based on a lie. We've got plenty of that in politics today, and plenty of examples of that over the last few years. And you don't want to be there, because that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be facing the enemy, sitting on that front line with the enemy, based on a lie, because you don't want to be there. They just told you to be there, and now you have to fight that fight against this guy, and he's your enemy, but you don't even know him, right?
Had a dream, it was time to be a witness at the scene of the crime. Well, that is something you can analyze, something you can criticize, who knows? So we wait, hesitate, and we're making such a mistake. Oh, whatever can the matter be, sleeping with the enemy, you know. I don't care what the future brings, give a damn about anything I can find if they'd only leave me alone.
Right, so he says, had a dream it was time to be a witness at the scene of the crime. Well, that's something you can analyze, something you can criticize. Who knows? So we wait, we hesitate, and we're making a mistake, or whatever can the matter be, sleeping with the enemy. You know, you're looking at what's happening. You can analyze it and you can criticize it, but you're not doing anything about it, right? And we're making such a mistake because what can the matter be, sleeping with the enemy? Well, you're sleeping with the enemy when you don't even know it. So who's the enemy? Is it the guy you're facing over there, or is it the guy that's sending you to war based on a bunch of lies? You got to remember, this song came out in 1984. So for those of you who are too young, this is like the height of the Cold War. This is Ronald Reagan. Is currently running for his actually by the time this album comes out, he just won his second term. Russia is in a lot of political turmoil. They're stuck in Afghanistan, fighting a war. The Cold War is just hot all along. The wall has not fallen in Berlin yet. So there's an entire socio-political atmosphere around this time and around this song where we just don't know who to trust anymore. You know, we're afraid of the Russians, but the government's lying to us. You know, we want to do what's right, but we don't know what's right because everybody keeps lying to us. And so even when we see what the crime is, we don't recognize it for what it is. We just see it because it's a huge cover up, and it doesn't make any sense. So we stop, we hesitate, and we're making a mistake because we're not acting on it, and so it just becomes a worse situation. Right. Then he's just like, leave me alone. I don't want to be any part of it. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. I'll be fine on my own.
But it's time, gotta take a stance, 'cause I won't get a second chance, and I know now I have to make it
I really like the way this song ends too. You see, it's going to take time. Got to take a stance because I won't get a second chance. Now I have to make it all alone. But it fades out with this refrain. But you want to know. But you want to know. But you want to know. You don't know what's going on, but you want to know. You want to move on alone. You want to do it alone. You don't want anybody, but you want to know. Right? I don't care what the future brings, but I want to know. I don't give a damn about anything, but I want to know. I'd be fine if they'd leave me alone, but I want to know, right? That's where we get stuck. And so we're kind of like stuck in like this repeating phrase at the end here, kind of like we're stuck in this eye of the storm. We have nowhere to go. We want the answers, but we can't get the answers because we don't trust anybody around us. We can't retreat because we're facing the enemy, but we have to sleep with the enemy because we're on the front lines. And we're just in this constant state of turmoil and conflict, and we're not seeing any resolution. And that's all we want, but we're not getting it, right? It's as poignant today, it's as relevant today as it was, 38 years ago, 40 years ago when the song first came out. And it's still one of my favorite songs of all time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Do me a favor and leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought. Because I'd like to know what you thought about this song. It had a huge impact on me when I was 14 years old. It's still impacting me today, 4 decades later. And when you stop and think about it, the more things change, the more they stay the same, don't they? So please jab that like button, hit subscribe, share this with your friends and complete strangers, and definitely leave me a comment. If there's a retro song you'd like me to react to, I'd be glad to. I love going back in time and checking out those old classics. And we'll just do it again. In the meantime, please check out this other stuff that I have. I have some other retro songs in here, Styx, Triumph, and a couple others. And I'm slowly building up that library, so y'all come back and we'll do it again. Love you. Have a good one.